Hello, my name is Marie Middendorf, and I am super excited to start telling you about all the wonderful things I've manifested. As you can tell, I'm not exactly a professional speaker. However, I have some really good stories to share with you, and I'm super excited to share those with you because I like to empower people. I like to show people like their possibilities, things that can actually happen in their life if they get the right mindset. So the very first story I want to share with you has to do with, I was thinking I knew which one. Which one do I want to start with? Okay, I'm going to tell you about the first story. There's so many, you guys. There's so many. Maybe I'll just like keep a running dialogue of all the different stories that I've developed over the years. But this one in particular, I had no idea what I was doing back then. I didn't realize that we're creating our reality. I didn't know all this stuff. I had done, like no self-help. I didn't know much of anything. But it's funny, like when you're in your early 20s, you think you get the world. Anyways, so I wanted my dream car at the time. My dream car at the time was a Camaro. It was a newer Camaro. And I'd been told over and over again how much I was going to have to pay for that new Camaro. And I had been told over and over again that what I wanted to pay, because I wanted to pay like $5,000 to $6,000. That's all I wanted to pay because that's what I felt like I wanted to pay. Some people would call me stubborn. Some people would call me naive. A lot of people laughed at me because I wanted a newer Camaro. At the time, it was like new to me. I wanted like a 2003, I think it was. Oh shoot, I can't even remember what year it was. It was newer at the time, okay? And I wanted a newer one. And at the time, they were running easily around $13,000. And I was like, no, I'm not going to pay that much. Like, I want to pay like $5,000 to $6,000. I want, this specific year. And the kicker is I wanted it to be in good condition, great condition. I wanted it to have a sunroof. I wanted it to be a certain color. I wanted it to have like not 55,000 miles, but I wanted it to have like really low miles. To me, like 50,000 miles was low miles, okay? And I wanted it to just be awesome, and I wanted to be excited about it, and I was. So I didn't realize I was manifesting it. I didn't realize that by making the list of things that I wanted in this car, that I was making a list to the universe. Totally was. It totally was. And believe it or not, I waited months because I wasn't going to give up, you guys. I was looking at the time, like Auto Traders were really popular. I'd look through Auto Traders and I'd look on Craigslist. I was like scouring everywhere I could possibly think or find or look for this Camaro, right? And then I got to a point where I was like, oh, it'll be fine. Like if I don't get it, I don't get it. But it sure would be nice if I did. It would be super exciting. And one day I had an appointment, and I found myself, I got stuck behind this little old lady. She was little and frail and old, and I could tell by the car she was driving and everything. Anyways, I was behind her at a stop sign, and this woman was not moving. Like she wasn't moving. And I thought, oh, is she okay? Like at first I was really frustrated because I was like, come on, lady, like I got places to go, people to see, And then I got worried for her because I was like, well, is she okay? Like what's going on? I don't know. And I thought, well, I'll give it a couple more minutes. And if she doesn't move, then whatever. But you guys, to be honest with you, before I got to that stage, like I was like really infuriated because I was like, how, like, it's go time. Like, can't she see that there's nothing, coming? And what happened was, it was a godsend. It was a sign from the universe, like fully embraced that it was a sign, because I sat there and I looked around because I was bored. Started looking around and taking notice. what was going on around me to try and calm myself down a little bit because I was so irritated. And I ended up looking off to the right, and it was like there was like no cars in this parking lot except for this Camaro that I spotted. And I thought, huh, that's odd, like, why is it by itself? And I thought, well, I should go look at it, just to look at it, just to give myself that feeling of enjoyment, like someday, one day. And it was a newer version, and it almost looked like it was for sale, but part of me I don't know, I couldn't not go check it out because I like to listen to my inner guidance. I didn't realize that's what I was doing back then, but that's what I do. I listen to my inner guidance. And so I thought, well, it just doesn't hurt to just drive over there. I've already wasted 5 minutes stop sign waiting for this lady to go. I hope that doesn't make me sound like a bad person, but I used to have serious road rage. And so I went into the parking lot, and I was driving past, and there was a sign in the window, and it was like this little itsy bitsy sign, like, and I thought, you got to be kidding me, because if this thing's for sale, that's not how you advertise. You don't advertise with like a 6x8 sign, like, seriously. And I got out, and I was like, oh my God, it says for sale. And I was like, sweet, I got to get closer, like, see how much it is, because it's probably too much is what I was thinking in my mind, but it never hurts to take a look. I always tell myself that, like, it never hurts to look. And so I walked over there, and I looked at it, and it said for sale, and it had a phone number on it, and it didn't have a price. And I was like, oh, of course I didn't put a price, because they probably want an arm and a leg, is what I was thinking to myself. But something made me make that phone call the next day, because it was like, I don't know if it was a Sunday or something. And I tried to call, and I realized I was calling a bank. They weren't open that day. It must have been a Sunday. And the next day I called, and I get a banker, and the banker is like, yeah, it's for sale. She goes, but here's the thing. It's actually going to be on its way to the car auction here in like a day. So if you're serious about it, we kind of have to get this ball rolling. And I was like, whoa. First of all, like, how much is it? Because I don't want to be, just like, I'm not going to buy something that's out of my price range. And she said, mind you, I wanted a car that was in the price range from like $5,000 to $6,000 max. The Camaro was for sale, and I didn't negotiate. I should have negotiated even better, but I didn't. And it was for $5,800. And I was like, what? Huh? How? Are you serious? Like, I was like shocked, like blown away. Then all of a sudden, okay, I'm ready to go. Like, whew, things are happening. Like, this is crazy. Like, I just did not expect it at all. I mean, I did, but I didn't. Does that make sense? And I couldn't believe it. It was so exciting. And she's like, well, here's the thing. She's like, I hope you got a loan officer on hand, because like, this needs to happen really fast. Otherwise it's going to go to car action, she said again. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, you're not going to believe this, but I totally have a loan officer lined up, because at that time, my boyfriend's brother was a loan officer, and he had known this whole time that I'd been looking. So I literally like walked in to his, office and was like, this is what I want. This is what they're offering. Like, he's like, you really found it? And I was like, I know, right? And that's where sometimes it pays to be naive. It pays to just like throw caution to the wind sometimes and say, what's possible? Is it possible? And so, yeah, he hooked me up. The next day, I literally had a loan. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And I was driving the car. Oh, and the mileage, 55,000 miles. Now you ask yourself, why was the car that price? At least I did. Most of you probably already know why. But it was because it was a repo. I didn't know what a repo was. I had no clue. And so when I found out, I was like, oh, thank God, because I didn't know if it was like a lemon or something. So I was just, I was so excited. It was the most, it was such a great, great experience. And it wasn't till years and years and years later till I started learning about the law of attraction, till I realized what I had done, because I literally believed with all my might. And to kind of go back in my story a ways, because I want you to realize that as long as you believe in it, that's all that matters. But you have to keep the faith, and you have to keep the faith seriously. And this is why I say that, because everybody and their mother at the time was telling me, I don't think you're gonna find that. That's your ass. No, you're not gonna find that at that price. Like, everybody knew what they were talking about the whole time, right? Like, everybody had their opinion. Everybody thought they knew what was best. And at the time, it really infuriated me, but I just kept on pushing on, even to the point where I'd gone to a car lot to look at another Camaro before I had found this one. And I was kind of excited about it because it was like $10,000, and it had kind of like all the things I was looking for, but it was still out of my price range, or at least that I wanted to pay at that time. And the guy that was the dealership guy, I told him, I was like, this is what I want. I want this, 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 and this. And he looked at me and he got pissed off at me. Like, he was mad, legit, like angry, like yelling at me, scolding me almost for wanting that. And I thought, are you kidding me? Like, I almost like walked away in tears because he was such a bully. I almost said a naughty word. He was such a jerk about the whole situation. But the thing is I didn't let that deter me. Like, I didn't stop believing that I could have what I wanted because of that one guy. Because of that, thank God he was a stranger. Because when strangers do that to you, when they have disbelief in you, it's easier to kind of push it aside and not think about, anything, because they don't have a personal, you don't have that relationship. So it's easy to blow them off, you know what I mean? But it's a little bit different when your family is that way. And I don't think my family ever said anything bad. And if they did, they all kept it to themselves. So that's nice. But I did have a lot of other naysayers. And I held to it and I stuck to it. And that car, man, I had that car for so many years. And funny enough, quick story, like, no, I'm just kidding. None of my stories are quick. I like to think they are, but they aren't. But years later, after I'd had this Camaro, I drove it to the lake. And there was other people at the lake. And funny enough, I was getting out of my car and I was like digging in the back for some stuff in the trunk. And a guy walks by and he goes, did that license, where did you get this car? And I told him, and he goes, did you have the license plate, whatever it said? Because it like was representative of something, which I won't explain here. And I didn't know this until I asked him. But I'm like, yeah, I totally have those license plates. They're like right here, because I always kept them in the back of the trunk for some reason. He's like, oh, he goes, can I have those, please? He's like, please, can I have those? And I was like, totally. After I found out what they meant, I was like, here, the license plates are yours. But it was so funny because I had actually met the guy that used to own it. And he told me that he ended up having it repoed because he decided to pay for his fiance's ring. So you guys, you just never know. You just never know. So may all your wishes, hopes, and dreams come true, and know that I support you fully in that. Have a great day. Love and light.